So we're here at the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo, and my little niecey didn't do the walk of shame and survived and wind up getting sixth place. So recording this for friends and family. Here you go.
South Arena, our Red Angus Class 3 being evaluated at this time. We'd like to share with you the results from Class 2. First place honors in that class went to Marcy Wilms of Kaufman County 4-H. Your second place to Colton Gober of the Haskell FFA chapter. Third ribbon won by Samuel Hardwick of the Weatherford FFA. Fourth in the class, Annabelle Morris of the Montgomery FFA. Your fifth place award going to Dixie Snodgrass, a member of Glen Rose FFA chapter. Our sixth place to Kinley Kutuk of Flatonia FFA. Seventh in the class, Redford Lewis, the exhibitor, Jack County 4-H member. And eighth in the class to McRae Elliott Tramnell of Graham FFA. We need our Class 4 in staging. You Red Angus exhibitors, want you to know that classes 5 and 6 are your champion classes, so Class 7 Red Angus, you need to be standing ready. When we move out Class 4, we can check in those Class 7 Red Angus heifers.
Well, the quality keeps coming here in our Red Angus show, and one here at the front of the lineup I think gives you a pretty commanding look from the profile. High tying, neat looking, very proportional in terms of her design, fresh in her composition, round in terms of her body, and still goes to the ground with a clear advantage in terms of comfort as well as attractiveness. No major holes in this one. I'd be excited to see this one back out here in a class or two for our division championship. I think she's awfully nice. The heifer in second is one that, again, fresh in terms of her composition, sound off of both ends in terms of her angles, and she still remains very collected in her lines here from the side profile. I like her neatness in terms of her shoulder. Now she still comes with that femininity from there on forward. So you ask yourself, why does she go second? Just not quite as much in terms of full rib shape and down into her heart. Like to stouten her up in terms of her base width and her foot size ever so slightly, but certainly one that I like in terms of her basics. The heifer here in third from her shoulders back, I think is truly impressive. Round and opened up and massive in terms of her center body, and remains very full and collected back into her rear rib and flank. She's attractive and comfortable in terms of her hip and hind leg, and has some added squareness and stoutness from behind the cattle. Up front is where I'd like to rock her back and angle to her shoulder. I think that allow her to carry herself with a shot more presence there out of her front end and have a bit more of that up-headed neat look from there on forward. Still like that one awful lot in terms of just her easy flesh and look and her center body and her attractive hind leg. Young man has an awfully nice one here in this light red female, big-footed, stout in terms of her general feature, has plenty of softness to her center body, makes you think she's just going to be a good kind of cow when put back into production. She's a little rougher in her transition from her shoulder back into her forerib, like to lay her tail head a bit neater in the backside of her hip and see her come with a bit more presence there through her front end, but her basics are on point. Young man's doing an awesome job getting that one shown. Young lady has one coming here next, maybe has a bit more up-headedness and neatness from the side profile in this particular pair. I like this one in the round turn to the center portion of her body. She's a little long and uneven in terms of her toe. I'd like to see that one a bit more attractive and secure in terms of her hock placement and rock her back and her knee just a touch. But a female in terms of round body shape and squareness from behind, she certainly has it in her favor. Another dark red heifer coming here next, broody and massive, has the advantage in this particular class in terms of weight per day of age. She's one I'd like to see a bit more attractive in terms of her lower skeleton. Like to see her shoulder lay smoother onto her body and be a bit neater from her navel back into her flank from a balance standpoint. Still powerful, still high performing in terms of her type and kind. The light red heifer that closes shapely up high, square in her upper pin set and fresh in terms of her composition. Just got to see her go with a bit more confidence and flexibility there off of both ends. Again, very high quality class from start to finish. I like that class winner an awful lot.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzsimmons. First place honors here in Class 3 going to Maddie Henderson of Academy FFA. Our second place award, Savannah Grimes of Henderson County takes that. Third in the class, Ty Cook of Bonham FFA. Your fourth place exhibitor, Crockett Gunther of Fayette County 4-H. Fifth in the class to Caitlin Holscher of Runnels County 4-H. Our sixth place going to Caden Schrader of Burleson County 4-H. Seventh to Presley Ann Brooks of Liberty County 4-H. Congratulations to our ribbon winners in Class 3. Class 4, Red Angus in the arena at this time. We'll be staging at the completion of this class for our calf champions. So Red Angus Class 7, time to you move in staging. Class 8, need to move up. We have a single entry in Class 9. The division will move pretty quick.
I back and forth on this class probably more than anything I have all day, and I land on a heifer for me that has the maternal advantage, and it all starts up front with the shape to her head, her extension out ahead of her blade. She's one that's just ultra ladylike. Now, does she spin out a little bit up front? Absolutely, and so I initially want to get pretty critical of that, but it's not a function issue, it isn't a femininity issue, and so you get back to her basics, and she's still monster-bodied, has plenty to her, and I think her degree of condition is maybe a shot more appropriate than the other two for this stage of maturity. Now, initially, I want to use your heifer, young lady. She's so smooth in the way she transitions her pieces. You get down and melt the condition off her, though. I question whether her added width is because of muscularity or white. And then I evaluate the shape to her head, and I just get a little bit critical. I wish it was a shot more ladylike there. And if she gets out and goes, she's not just perfectly flawless in terms of meeting her track. Now, part of that is she's kind of lazy. She doesn't want to get out and go for you, but I get a little bit more critical as the drive wears on those things. But initially, I like a lot of things about her. I could see this one going on and making some phenomenal steers, and she's pretty darn good good in her own regard, and so it becomes challenging again. So I like a lot of things about her kind, her moderation, her muscularity, and the way she handles that hind leg. Her head shape isn't perfect either. She's starting to push a little more forward chest. When she does that and gets really alert, it makes the conversation a lot more interesting on the top side. You could say, well, why don't you make this heifer like the one that wins? Because she is feminine, and I do appreciate that about her. If she had more to her from the backside, I think it becomes a different story. Bottom line, she wants to hawk in and just gives up that red meat muscle shape of the cattle ahead of her. But flexible, functional, like the way she handles her pieces. Heifer here that's just a little more upright in her angles, extremely well presented though. I can tell he's absolutely spent some time at home. Really moderate, easy feeding kind of cow that's going to go on and do good things in that regard. A little bit more conservative in terms of her frame size as far as her head shape and her growth indicators show me, but still tremendously soft-bodied in relation to the two cattle that come out next. Your guys' heifers are more alike than they are different. They line up pretty nice in terms of the top side of their skeleton from a parallelness standpoint, just harsher on the under portion. Need to drop them in their forerib and flank a little bit. Nice class.
Well, thank you, Judge, for those comments on Class 7 in our Junior Polled Hereford show. Winning the class is Lila Doris from Erath County 4-H. Second in that class is shown by Lily Liao, Waller County 4-H. Placing third in Class 7 is Addison Wilde, Falls County 4-H. Our fourth place heifer exhibited by Philip Miles, Rice FFA. Placing fifth, Benny Whitmer, Meridian FFA. Sixth place goes to Ryland Bade, Cuero FFA. Seventh, Allison Nava, Klein Forest FFA. And eighth, Sophie Hebert, Longview FFA.
Another very impressive class here at our Red Angus heifer here at the front of the lineup. A little short on the ear.
So Rai Rai got sixth place. She survived the first cut and made it to the finals for her class, which is Class 7. Proud of you, girl. You did good. You showed well. Love you.